Today's spacewalk is the 264th in support of space station assembly, maintenance, and upgrades. This will be the 9th spacewalk for NASA astronaut Steve Bowen and the first spacewalk for NASA astronaut Woody Hoburg. Today's spacewalk will be the 7th spacewalk in 2023 and the 5th spacewalk for Expedition 69 so far. So again, today's spacewalk will see the crew members working to install the 5th IROSA to the International Space Station. This IROSA will be on the 1A power channel on the starboard truss of the International Space Station. And on June 15th, we'll have an additional spacewalk to install the array on the 1B power channel. These new arrays are 60 feet long by 20 feet wide and share a little more than half of the original arrays, which, as you can see in this graphic here, they lie over top of them. Each new IROSA will produce more than 20 kilowatts of electricity, and once all...
Resume exercise, cycle 10. This is the last cycle.
Close, flyer locked. I keep turning back to the airlock.
Copy, that is a good load path for Woody. You can give Woody the go to release his waist tether. Woody, I have your next step, working with Frank to GCA to the published APFR install position.
All right, James, I agree. Steve, do you need the comm? Just for 1 second, I'm going to head over to R5 on the upper. I see it. And what am I setting there, Jenny, if I'm going to lose comm?
And Steve, can you confirm that you've picked up the PGT, left the RET on the bag, so that's now on your swing arm, and I need a glove inspection hat check.
Okay, do the glove inspection hat check first. Okay, 18 to 20 turns. Okay. And Steve, I'm going to look for the comm again when you have a chance. Hey, you can take the comm. Thanks. It's so fine. I'm ready for truss back off.
Right, copy. Woody, you are ready, and brakes are coming off.
Copy, brakes off.
Woody, check your tools and tethers are clear. We need you to confirm that.
You are ready when you are for the journal cast.
I'm ready for conference.
Then starting motion.
Copy. Good motion, full time.
Good motion.
And Hoburg continuing to be moved on the Canadarm2. Meanwhile, Bowen is working with the pistol grip tool, or PGT, to release bolts. This is a restraint bolt. Next up, he's going to work on releasing the anti-rotation devices. All of this is in preparation for ultimately removing the International Space Station rollout solar array from this carrier, this pallet that it is temporarily stowed on. And in Hoburg's hand, you can see the PGT, or pistol grip tool. This is essentially the space drill. It's going to be utilized a lot throughout today's spacewalk, first to remove the IROSA from the pallet and then to reinstall it on the 1A power channel.
Copy. Thanks, James. Good reminder. I have Alpha 4 counter 2 set for R1 and R2.
Those are good settings, Woody. It doesn't matter to us which of these bolts you do first, but the bolt will spring out when it's fully released. You have the same settings for both of them.
Copy, thanks. All right, I get 8.8 turns.
Copy. That was 8 turns.
See if we can...
Steve, and you can remove the ARD, and then we'll be torquing back this bolt.
All right, pulling the ARD off.
We're just checking on those turns, Steve.
The bumper rolled on top of the mount. You might not get as many turns as you might have expected. Okay, so it's on stop motion. But you can look at it. It's on there nice and snug.
We are in the public position, and you are go for unbolting.
See where it's on there. It's not turning. It's on the bump. It's on the mount. It didn't go past the mount. You see it?
Now you can see NASA astronaut Woody Hoburg beginning to release the R bolts.
All right, Steve, I'm sorry, one more time. We're going to have you say what you saw on those turns and whether you counted the turns or you're reading them off.
Well, I counted the turns correctly. Bumper, the lock, when it turned, it went onto the mount for the bolt stanchion. Therefore, it is locked in place. You can still see threads below bumper, and the C2 bolt is clear.
All right, thanks for the clarification again, Steve. This is a good bolt. You can store your PGT, and we'll have you translate to stanchion Charlie for the Charlie 1 ARD.
Okay, heading over to Charlie for...
The bolts that Hoburg is working on are on the boom end of the upper IROSA, or International Space Station Rollout Solar Array. The first 2 bolts will allow the boom deployment system rollers to be moved into place to help with the array deployment later in the spacewalk.
And we see you rotating the deployment system.
Bolt sprung out, and it was 9.5 on R2.
Copy, 9.5. That is a good bolt release, Woody. We need you to access R3 and R4 next. You can GCA if you need to. I have new settings for you, and as a reminder, these will be the 245 turn bolts, so we need you in a good body position.
You just heard confirmation that Woody Hoburg successfully released 2 of the bolts, and he's moving on to the second set.
Right, Steve, we copy, and for this motion, we expect about 4 meters, and for Woody, it's going to be body down.
Okay. Great.
And we are starting motion.
You heard confirmation that NASA astronaut Steve Bowen has installed the second scoop onto the carrier, and Woody Hoburg has lifted it off of the carrier. There will now be several maneuvers with Hoburg on the robotic arm, and then he will arrive at the 1A mod kit worksite. During these maneuvers, Steve Bowen will pick up the temporarily stowed crew lock bag from the port cart and reconfigure both of his safety tethers on his way to meet Hoburg at the mod kit.
We are clear of the pin. Continue.
Continuing, we have 3 meters to go.
Continue.
We continue.
Houston copies. Since we are clear of the grapple tower, and this is a procedure to published position, I'm going to pick up comm with Steve. Steve, perform a socket swap. I need the 5/8 12-inch wobble on the socket caddy and the 2-inch from your trash bag on your PGT.
The new arrays, once unfurled, measure approximately 60 feet in length by 20 feet wide, and they shade a little more than half of the original arrays. Each new IROSA will produce more than 20 kilowatts of electricity and once installed will enable a 30% increase in power production over the station's current arrays. From this view, you can see both astronauts working on today's spacewalk. In the upper right-hand side of your screen, you see NASA astronaut Steve Bowen as he works to configure some safety tethers and work his way over to the mod kit site to meet Woody Hoburg. And then a little bit further down is NASA astronaut Woody Hoburg aboard the International Space Station's robotic arm, holding on to the International Space Station Rollout Solar Array, or IROSA, as he makes his way to the mod kit site.
All right, I get my bearings here. Let's hold position there.
Hold position.
Feels a little high, actually. I think feels a little high and a little short. You need to come toward me another 40 centimeters.
I see that, Steve.
And you are still a little high.
Yeah, so Tom, could I come standby checking?
You gotta take the scoop off when you get closer up, though.
Actually, this feels pretty good, so Tom, can we just go body in like 20 centimeters?
Okay, Woody will give you that body in 20 centimeters. Starting motion in 3,
Can you take your hands off, Steve?
2.
All right, here you go.
Continue.
Okay, starting motion in 3, 2, 1.
Motion.
I agree.
Okay, good.
You are hearing conversation between NASA astronaut Woody Hoburg and Sultan Al-Niyadi, who is a UAE astronaut inside the space station operating the space station's robotic arm.
I'm ready to take the scoop off.
All right, the soft docks are set. They've not been cycled, but they were cycled just a little bit ago.
Houston's back with you.
Looks great.
We see that the soft captures are in a good position. We do not need to cycle them. Steve, hold IROSA steady while Woody removes the scoop. And I have some cautions and warnings I need to read. Warning, when you're on the aft side of the mod kit, Steve, avoid contacting the legacy blanket boxes and trunnions. Caution, when you're both on the mod kit, don't simultaneously impart loads. Sudden stops and quick grabs are not allowed on the mod kit. 30-pound max lateral load on the mod kit. And finally, confirm no BGA motion prior to installing IROSA.
Copy all.
Copy all. Sounds great, James. Thank you.
And Steve and Woody, just to confirm that you don't need any further GCA, and we'll call it complete.
Concur. GCA complete.
Can you give me 20 centimeters toward the mass canister? What do you do? Do you have enough for that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That's GCA complete. I agree.
All right, GCA complete, and brakes are coming on.
Copy, brakes on.
Houston
Before we
copies.
bring this
Brakes are on. You can work together for install. Woody and Steve, we've been talking about the arm position and your tether here on the ground, and we think it's best if we maneuver to the tether swap position.
Yep. That makes sense to us too, James. We like it.
All right, you can initiate that with
Woody and Steve.
You can initiate that with M1. Once you do that, since that's a published position, I have some big picture words for you because we need to pause anyway before you put in a fair lead, Woody. But you can go ahead and coordinate with M1 for now.
Okay, great. Sean, we're ready for you to move to the published tether swap position.
Okay, Woody, we copy. This will take us 3 maneuvers to get to that position, and we'll let you know when we're there.
All right, sounds great, Sultan. I'll be watching while the arm's near us.
We'll be starting with the back of position, and we're expecting about 2 meters, like in your body was body right.
Okay, yeah, body right looks correct. That sounds great.
Okay, brakes are coming off.
NASA astronaut Woody Hoburg is now working to drive 2 hinge bolts into IROSA while it's in the unfolded position. The crew will then work together to drive 8 bolts to fully secure IROSA to the mounting bracket.
Okay, M38. We had 11.93 turns Green light. 22.2 foot-pounds. There you go, Steve.
Well, let me get my hands off here.
We have our video back. Everything is looking great. I have 2 cautions for you, Woody.
You can now see live views of the International Space Station rollout solar array as it begins to unfurl as the space station flies over the coast of the southwest United States.
Lateral load. This is 5 less than before.
Okay, I copy. Thank you. I'll be cautious.
Sounds good to us? Everything's looking really good to us. Again, well done, you two. Woody, again, you have to stay put, but Steve, you can get moving if you want to. We're still well ahead of schedule, so you can stay and look a little longer if you prefer it, but your next step is to pick up your green hook.
All right, I'm going to head back and pick up my green hook. Yeah.
Copy. Woody, if we can, we'd love to adjust your HECA view a little bit. If you could pitch back at all for us, we'd appreciate it.
Yep, you got it.
Thank you.
Woody Hoburg is continuing to monitor the IROSA as it deploys. Meanwhile, Steve Bowen is translating back to the IROSA carrier to reconfigure the carrier beams that previously held the upright IROSA. These beams will need to be rotated out of the way to allow access to the lower IROSA, which will be installed on next week's EVA on June 15th.
All right, green hook going to red reel. That's complete.
Copy, Steve.
Let's slow down. Let's get the pictures of Woody here.
Sounds great.
Once fully deployed, the IROSA, or International Space Station Rollout Solar Array, will measure 60 feet long by 20 feet wide and will shade a little more than half of the original array. Each new IROSA will produce more than 20 kilowatts of electricity, and once installed will enable a 30% increase in power production over the station's current arrays.
Hopefully those came out. We'll see.
Copy. Steve, whenever you're ready, you're headed to the FSC.
Heading to the FSC. On my way.
Copy. I have more cautions and warnings for you when you're ready.
All right, give me 1 second. Clear this. I'll be ready.
Let me know.
All right, I'm ready to copy.
Steve, warning and a reminder, grapple shafts and curved coupling are no-touch zones. No sudden movements, quick grabs on the FSE. Wait until motion dampens out before imparting loads on the FSE. Don't simultaneously impart loads into the FSE. This is for when Woody is also ready to translate. And do not contact the IROSA blankets.
And I copy all.
The International Space Station Rollout Solar Array, or IROSA, continues to deploy on the starboard forward truss connected to the 1A power channel of the space station as the space station flies over South Dakota.
I do not have a fair lead listed for you, Steve, and no green hook drop. Let me just confirm.
Okay. All right, that's fine. No.
Yeah, I can confirm that now, Steve. There is no action for a fair lead or green hook drop. You are just translating directly onto the FSE from the port CETA cart. So do not take the POA path.
Not take the POA path. I will do that.
Affirm, different path than last time.
Probably a good view there, Jenny.
Affirm.
And I think my first bolts are C7, C8, correct?
Affirm, that's right. You're going to be at stanchion alpha, and this is a Bravo 7 setting, so you might need to get in a better brace position.
All right, I'll put that in work.
Copy, let me know when you're ready for settings.
Yeah, bye.
Woody, we are nearly complete. More words for you in a minute.
Okay, thank you.
All right, look for settings for C7, C8.
Bravo 7, counter 2.
Bravo 7, counter 2.
Good readback. You'll be releasing C7 and C8. Expect 8 to 11 turns.
8 to 11 turns, C7, C8.
Good words.
All right, here comes C7.
Hey, James, it looks to me like motion is stopped.
Yep, we're just double checking that we can confirm a good deploy, Woody. What would help us is if you could confirm the bottom 5 magnets on both booms. We don't need a heck of you, we just need you to see that the magnets have snapped together.
keep looking.
At 11.5 and C7 is topped out, moving to C8.
Copy, C7 released. You go for C8.
And James, I'm thinking I might need to move to see those. Do you agree with that, or am I missing something? Magnets.
Affirm, Woody, you will have to move, and you are go to translate right now.
Right now, you're seeing views of NASA astronaut Steve Bowen as he works to release the beam restraint bolts. He has already released one of them and has a couple more to go.
And 10.6 turns.
Copy, C8 is released. Steve, stow your PGT and translate to stanchion Bravo.
Translate stanchion Bravo.
Steve, a delta to your plan will have you continue translation past stanchion Bravo to stanchion Charlie because we have enough time for a small efficiency here.
Okay, going Charlie.
Hey, Jenny, yeah, I do see the first 5 magnets on the right side engaged.
Copy, Woody, that sounds good.
And left side, I see it as well.
Copy. Thank you, Woody. With that, we can release the blanket tensioner bolts, R11 and R12, on the ISS inboard side of IROSA.
Okay, 11 and 12, Alpha 1, counter 2.
Alpha 1, counter 2.
A successful deployment of the International Space Station Rollout Solar Array, or IROSA, has been confirmed as the space station flies over Quebec, Canada. NASA astronaut Woody Hoburg is now working to release blanket tensioner bolts. From this view, you can see both of today's spacewalkers. NASA astronaut Steve Bowen is EV1 in the red stripes, and then NASA astronaut Woody Hoburg is EV2 with the unmarked suit.
Jam socket swap complete, get full test, empty trash bag.
Copy, Woody. I will have more words for you shortly.
Copy.
All right. Ready for Alpha, Romeo 4.
Copy, Steve. I have you ready for R4. Your settings are Alpha 3, counter 3.
Alpha 3, counterclockwise 3 for R4, 245 turns again.
You got it.
That's in work. I see good counterclockwise.
All right, looks like it popped out at 11, Jams.
Copy, R1
PT coming back.
popped out at 11 turns.
All right, I have a PGT.
You've got the PGT. I can probably, I don't know if it helps for me to come around to that side and try to do the same thing. If you want me to try to just give you stability?
Just give me some stability. That might be helpful. Let me see what I can do here. Probably they keep swinging under.
Okay, let me grab your, okay, I've got your BRT. Perfect. Gotcha.
All right, can I go a little bit higher?
Wait, try. Touch the blanket on the right side.
Yeah.
All right, so.
From this view, you can see both of today's spacewalkers. In the unmarked suit is NASA astronaut Woody Hoburg, who is EV2, and with the red stripes on his spacesuit is NASA astronaut Steve Bowen, who is EV1.
Steve, we'll have you on the aft side. That's what we have as a good position. What did you say you needed to deconflict yourself with Woody?
I'm just looking at the way my tether is. I go to the aft side, it crosses in front of the airlock. If I'm here, you can pass between me and go to the aft side. It's just harder. I can go there. If you want me to the aft side?
NASA astronauts Steve Bowen and Woody Hoburg are translating back to the airlock. They were working on cleaning up their tethers before they ingress. With today's spacewalk coming to an end and totaling 6 hours and 3 minutes, we have some statistics for you. This is the 264th spacewalk for the International Space Station in support of assembly maintenance and upgrades. It's the 7th spacewalk out of the space station this year and the 5th spacewalk during Expedition 69. This was the 9th spacewalk of NASA astronaut Steve Bowen. He has now garnered 60 hours and 22 minutes of spacewalking time, which puts him 5th in the all-time list for the most spacewalking time. It was the first spacewalk for Woody Bowen, so he now has 6 hours and 3 minutes of spacewalking time. In today's spacewalk, which began at 8:25 a.m. Central Time, 9:25 a.m. Eastern Time, and ended at 2:28 p.m. Central Time, 3:28 p.m. Eastern Time. It lasted a total of 6 hours and 3 minutes as they installed a new International Space Station Rollout Solar Array, or IROSA, on the 1A power channel on the starboard truss of the space station. In total, the space station has seen over 69 days of spacewalking time, with 69 days, 21 hours, and 52 minutes of spacewalking time across those 264 spacewalks that have been conducted. NASA astronaut Frank Rubio and UAE, or United Arab Emirates astronaut Sultan Al Niyadi, are beginning to assist with doffing the spacesuits. Right now, they're removing some of the tools that were used on today's spacewalk and getting those out of the way.